Hey, and welcome back to this episode of From the Sidelines to the Seats. I'm Rob DeArmond,
I'm Adam Diarmond.
and today we're going to talk about some Saints stuff. Man, we've been holding off on, not really holding off, but just kind of waiting on some stuff to happen, and it is finally here. Alvin Kamara is returning to the Saints. What are your thoughts on this, Adam?
Uh, I like to see him back. He's definitely a Saint for life. He's definitely gonna retire here. I mean, he said it himself. He's not going anywhere. So, them restructuring his contract from 2 years down to 1 year, it kinda, in a way, tells me that this might be his last year.
I would have to agree with that. And I go back to we talked about this before, just having those types of leaders in the locker room. They also brought Cam Jordan back. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And I think having both of those guys as veterans on a team that you're trying to build, still young, those it's invaluable. And they still have, I know people are going to ask, hey, they've still got stuff left in the tank. No doubt about that for sure. It's just these roles I think are gonna be a little bit different for them this time around.
Yeah, I think both Kamara and Cam Jordan, they're gonna they'll still play that leadership role, but then at the same time, I don't think they're gonna be as dominant, I guess, as we saw them in their prime. They're just kinda gonna be there, have a veteran presence. You're not gonna sign in Kamara's situation, you're not gonna sign a guy of Travis Chance caliber to the team and not use him. Kamara, he's not an every down back. I don't think he would at this point in his career, he's not an every down back. I guess he would be your third down back. You just throw him in there when you need to. But then at the same time, you got two other running backs who have shown that they can contribute to the team and be impactful. Whereas the Cam Jordan situation, leadership, I think that's the biggest thing with him. He was still a threat on the edge at the end of last season. Well, really the entire season last season. And you got additions to the defensive line on that side too.
I think there are ways you're not paying Achane what you're paying him, he's got $24 million fully guaranteed there. You're not paying him to come in and be your third down back. But I think there are ways that they can figure out that they can get multiple backs involved in the scheme, in the offense. You've talked about it before. Kellen Moore has had weapons before in Philadelphia. It's just a different way and a different group of guys. And I think he's a young, bright coach, and I think he's going to figure out ways to make it work. That the other part is to kind of, and I don't want to say reduce Kamara's workload, but you start to see the effects of how he's been used over his career, taking the toll. I mean, let's face it, man. This is going to be his 10th year. 10 years in the NFL as a running back is that's a tough deal to get to this point. Kudos to him because it means you keep yourself in shape and you're ready to go whenever you can. That doesn't mean you don't get hurt. And I think this is what that does. It gives them a cushion. They can still use Kamara in situations, but they have those younger guys that they can lean on a little bit more so he doesn't have to take on the burden of the running back room.
Yeah, I completely agree. His stature too doesn't really allow him to take too many hits, I would say. He's not the biggest guy, but he is very much in shape. I've seen his workout videos. He's got his own diet. I mean, he's a menace in the weight room. There's no denying that. I mean, the guy's a really hard worker. He can keep himself in shape, even though he does have some injury problems and has a history of injuries, especially recently. And on top of that, he's, I mean, 10 years in the NFL. That's a lot of hits that you're taking. He'll be 31 in a few days here. You're not going to survive much longer. I don't think he survives much longer in the NFL. And it's not absolutely nothing against him. It's just when you get to a certain age as a running back in the NFL, you see the fall off and you fall off fast. Unless you're Derrick Henry and you're 32 or 33 still, but at the same time, he's like 6'3" and 250. I mean, that guy's
He's
an
also a
absolute
menace.
behemoth.
Yeah, he's also a menace in the weight room, like you said. He's got a pretty stringent workout, and man, he is ripped.
Yeah, Kamara is extremely ripped. He knows what he's doing in the weight room. He's got his own training methods. I mean, he's not nearly as nimble and quick as he was in his earlier years, but even for a guy that has never rushed for 1,000 yards in a season, which is insane, it, he's still such a valuable piece to the team. I think it's just with his age and his history of injuries, this isn't looking necessarily the best, but I'm glad to have him back. I think they'll still use him. He's still gonna be a factor on that offense, and, I mean, Kellen Moore, at this point, we've seen what he could do in Philadelphia when he had all the weapons that he needed. Letting him build this offense the way he wants to is gonna be absolutely perfect. He knows how he wants to run his offense. He knows who fits his scheme, and he's signing those guys, and I think we as Saints fans should trust that process.
I go back to I'll say this, and you can't outrun Father Time, and I say that just from a person perspective, and as an athlete, it happens the same way. This is not to say that Alvin Kamara is, diminished but you can see it. I mean, saw it this past year, and just looking at, I mean, looking at what we're seeing here, played in 16 games his rookie year, and then the NFL went to 17 in 2021, and he hasn't played in a full season since that rookie year, which was 16 games. So, and then in 2021, 240 carries. That is unbelievable to me as a running back. That just tells you how much and how valuable he was to the offense. That when you say we got a guy, he was the guy, but now we're seeing that start to take a toll on him.
Uh, yeah, he's just getting up there in age for a running back. I mean, 31 isn't necessarily old by human perspective, but from a running back in the NFL, you're kind of old. You're pushing it. You don't have much left in the tank. And that's not even anything knocking him. I think he has a Hall of Fame career. There's absolutely no doubt. I don't know how other people see it, but just watching him throughout these 10 years, to me, he's a Hall of Famer. Should be first ballot, in my opinion. But in total, I mean, just all around, this guy has been great for the Saints. And having him back, I think, is going to be great for them. He's a major contributor to the team. He's been the guy before, and now I think he's got to figure out how to still be the guy, but having to split your carries because of your age. You're gonna take those hits. You're gonna start feeling them a lot more. Yeah. I mean, he's a great player. He's good for the team. Kellen Moore knows what he wants to do with him, but the age is catching up to him.
Yeah, and this is not to just, you just see it happening, you brought up a great point, and we didn't realize it till we were doing a little research here. He's never had a 1,000-yard season. He's come close, 2024, 950 yards. That's in 14 games, so again, maybe if you get that full season, you have a 1,000-yard season. I think we were talking about it. Mark Ingram was the last guy to do it in 2017, which is that boggles my mind that you've had Alvin Kamara for this window and no 1,000-yard seasons. I don't say that in a bad way, but it just the production he's put up for the Saints in this window, you would have thought that would have been a no-brainer. It would have been okay, it just happened, but it hasn't.
On the other side of that, he's a receiving back. He is very good in the screen game, out the backfield. So what he didn't get in those he didn't get 1,000 yards rushing, but he still got like 800 yards receiving. That's still really good. You're not just doing that to do that. it makes a difference in your game. I'll I'll pull this example out. Especially in today's NFL, you need a running back that can work in the screen game, can work out the backfield, you know, just check down, can't beat their man. And this might be a little off topic, but think about Reggie Bush, you know, electric in college. When they would use him in the pass game, he was absolutely amazing in the NFL. He was a good rusher, but not nearly as good as he was in college. But this is a point in time where you're not using the running back as much in the passing game. So you can see how valuable those guys are. And in today's NFL, Kamara is the exact type of running back that you want. But then you bring in Travis Achan, who is younger. He's a younger version of Kamara. He's a very good pass catcher. He can run the ball very well.
Was yeah.
I, we're likely gonna we're likely gonna see 1,000 yards out of this guy. I mean, it's just I you need a pass catching running back, and Kamara's that guy. But Achan is also that guy, and these guys are valuable to the team.
There's gonna be a I'm telling you, there's gonna be a way that they're gonna figure out to get a way to get both of these guys involved some kind of way. I don't think it's gonna well, you're gonna be the first and second down back, you're gonna be third down back. I really see maybe a rotation happening there trying to get them in, and I go back to it, under Sean Payton, that bubble screen game was when it was rolling, and you knew you were gonna see it, you know, 20 times a game, maybe more. And it didn't matter. I go back to looking at Kamara's rookie year, 100 targets, 81 receptions, 826 yards, five touchdowns. That's immediate. And it seemed like it got progressively better, but his yardage totals actually went down. This past season, it's 33 receptions for 186 yards, no touchdowns. So you see there, and that's part of the injury thing. He only had 11 games played. So, but I do think because HN was used, that's the way the Jaguars were using him in their offense as well. So I think he fits right into what they're trying to do in that scheme. So, but if anything, it's going to make the Saints a little deeper, a little maybe a little more dangerous too in what we're looking at, man.
I think Achan's gonna be an absolute monster on the field. Kellen Moore had Saquon Barkley. He almost broke the single season rushing record. So then you get a guy like Achan who, he was very good in Jacksonville. Maybe not a top 5 running back in the league, but he's still very good. That's a guy that you can get the ball to. He's gonna make do with what he can with the ball, and he's gonna create more opportunities to pass to him, to run with him. He is an RB1 in the majority of running back rooms. And you give a guy like that who is 27, you're still kind of you're almost there for your lifetime as a running back, but only having a 4-year deal, it sounds like they're going to use whatever they can out of Achane while he's the age that he is. And Kellen Moore, you get him a weapon like that, he's going to do something with it. Once again, I feel like we repeat this so much. He won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. He knows how to run an offense. He knows how to run an effective offense with a lot better players. And I think if he's able to develop these guys, we're going to see more and more out of them. And even Kamara in his age and this time in his career, I think they will still use him properly. But then that brings up the question, where does Devin Neal come in?
Yeah.
Are we gonna see more of Devin Neal? Is he gonna try to take over for that Kamara role, or is he just gonna be like your bruising running back? That's just the guy that you hand the ball off to. But then you use Kamara and Achane maybe in like a 2 running back set, yeah, out of shotgun. So you can use them out of the backfield because that's what they're best at. They're best out of the backfield. Overall, I think Kellen Moore has a good plan for these guys. I think they're still gonna be contributors. The it's still gonna be interesting to see just how he uses them. Is it gonna be lopsided? Is it gonna be split evenly? Are we gonna see a 3 running back system instead of a 2 running back system that most places have? I I'm very excited and interested to see what he has. I have very high hopes for this season. I think this offense could be extremely lethal with the way that he's building it. You just drafted Jordan Tyson. There's your wide receiver two with Chris Olave, who could easily be considered an all pro wide receiver. He's definitely a top 10 receiver in the league. And you got tight ends who can do their job. I mean, you got Noah Fant now, who has shown that he is a tight end one at most places. Jawan Johnson, he can spread out the field. He's your vertical threat kind of guy. And then the offensive line, they're slowly building that back up, trying to make sure to account for those injuries. Kelvin Banks, Talise Fuaga, those guys are very good off the edge. And I think Kellen Moore has a very good vision in mind. These guys are young. They're going to be on the team for a while, I think.
My thought, don't sleep on this offensive line, man. I think this offensive line might be, I don't want to say underrated, but at this point, maybe underrated. You bring some people in. I think they made some upgrades, and that's what you need with a young quarterback trying to develop solid protection. And with these offensive weapons, I mean, you can see it in the draft and what they did. You see what they're trying to do. It's going to be trying to stretch the field, and I think it's going to be a really balanced offense, man. There's no other. When you put this much talent together, you got to figure out ways to get the ball in your playmakers' hands. Now, Kellen Moore, how do you do it? I think we saw at times, maybe Devin Neal, and I don't say this in a bad way. I think he wanted a bigger role in the offense last year, and I could be wrong in seeing that, but you're not going to unseat Alvin Kamara. That's not going to happen. Now, when he got his opportunity, did he take advantage of it? Absolutely. And he's another guy that, if he stays healthy, who knows, man? But as like you said it a million times, Kellen Moore has to figure out a way to make this thing work. He will, and I think a lot of that is going to happen as the season progresses, as you kind of start to see these guys develop, get used to the pro game. Some of them have the experience. Achan's going to be. I think you said it before we started recording. Just he's going to be a beast. I think he's just going to fit like a glove in there. It's really exciting, but you also have to, I think, temper what's going to happen because this is still a young team that is learning. And we talked about it when we did the episode regarding the schedule. The way this division shakes out and the way could this be a playoff team? Absolutely. Could they also be at the bottom of the barrel? Absolutely. That's just the nature of this division. I think we're going to see that again.